Hello, my name is Mr. Cadell, and today I'm going to show you how to blend your project. Now, this one right here is shaded with just a pencil, and that's perfectly fine. You do not have to use a blending stump or your finger or anything else to actually blend a well-shaded still life or another drawing. So this is just an optional step, but maybe some of you do choose to use a blending stump to blend in some of your values. So I've started blending this one here, and you see nice even blending here. You notice I'm not trying to go real fast, and I'm taking my time. When you use a blending stump, you do not want to rush it or press really hard. I'm pressing very lightly with the blending stump to make sure that I can blend in those graphite particles into the paper very evenly and not in a very scratchy, very sloppy look. And I'll show you some examples of some mistakes here in just a minute. But if you'll notice that I'm actually just going back and forth over the same spot, back and forth, to make sure I get some nice blended values in here. I'm doing this very carefully. Now, also pay attention to your edges. When you do blend, you don't want to blend right over those edges and make them real fuzzy and blurry, unless they need to be fuzzy and blurry. Like, for example, the shadow right down here that I've been blending. It does have sort of a blurry edge to it, and it actually just fades off into one. That is a 1 value, which would be the white paper. So this is where definitely blending can help, but I will show you some mistakes as well. So again, you want to take your time, start lightly, and go over the same spot several times. Now this is where a person would make mistakes. They just start going as fast as they can. They just blend over it. They're pressing really hard. It looks really splotchy. It still looks very scratchy. Maybe they didn't do a very good job of shading, and now they're trying to shade this and save their project with blending, and it's just not going to look all that good. And sometimes people take their finger and they go over it, and the problem with that is finger blending's fine, but sometimes you don't get a lot of detail with your finger as well, and it gets really fuzzy, really blurry. And then some people, they can get the really dark values, and sometimes they can get the light values, but there's not a lot of value in between, so they just try to do that real quick with a blending stump, and it just looks kind of sloppy. A couple other mistakes that I see is people blocking in their shadows like this, just coloring it in, hard outline, and then just color it in dark because they think all shadows are super dark. But on one of my other finished examples here, shadows can be very light. They could be a 2 or 3 or 4 value, and there's lots of different kinds of shadows too. So it isn't just a dark spot right there. And then one big mistake that I see is sometimes people, when they're shading, they'll shade one thing, but then they forget to shade all the other things as well that may require blending and shading as well. So, and another quick little tip, sometimes I see people's table line back here, it's kind of sloppy, a little bumpy, and kind of curved or something like that, so watch that as well. You want to make sure that you're blending lightly, carefully,